So yesterday we started looking at a new kind of graph, a line plot. Remember that a line plot is a graph used to show the frequency of measurement data. So for our problem of the day, we're going to go ahead and create our own line plot. Let's read the problem together. The third graders at Hartford Elementary each brought in a straw from home to measure. Below are all the different measurements that they came up with. We're going to use this information to create a line plot. So let's get to it. The first thing we might want to record on our line plot is, how are the straws measured? How were the straws measured? That's right, they were measured in inches. We're going to want to remember that unit. And do you remember what tool helps us measure in inches? Say it out loud. That's right, a ruler. Great. So as we're creating our number line for our line plot, let's think about the way a ruler is partitioned. So first, we need to draw a number line for our line plot. So I have a number line here, and as you can see, it's got a lot of different hash marks, which are going to be our numbers on our number line. So we said that this line plot was straw lengths in inches. Now, back up in our problem, the students are at Hartford Elementary. They each brought in a straw from home. Okay? So we remember from our graphing unit in second grade and also in our work with line plots yesterday that our line plot needs to have a title. So let's go ahead and give our line plot a title. So we're going to title our line plot Hartford Elementary Straw Lengths. And go ahead and say that unit out loud again. That's right, inches. So I want to remember that it was measured in inches. Now, I'm also going to label the units that will be at the bottom of my line plot. And so I'm going to make sure that I record that this is inches. And we remember that on a line plot, we use a key, and we want to make sure that each item that we record on our line plot, each measurement here represents one straw. So we want to record that as well, one straw. All right, great work. Let's start thinking about creating our number line. So as we look at our number line, what is the lowest measurement in our data set? Say it to your screen. That's right, it is 2 3/4. I'm going to go ahead and circle that. And I'm going to label that lowest, so that I remember that that's our lowest measurement. What is our highest measurement in the data set? Say it out loud. You got it again. It's 5. And I'm going to label this greatest, so that we remember that is our greatest value in our data set. So when we put our numbers on our number line, we want to start and end with whole numbers. So if this is our lowest measurement and this is our highest measurement, what numbers should we start and end with, and why? Say it out loud to your screen. That's right. We're going to start with 2 because that is the whole number before 2 3/4. And that's the smallest measurement, which is 2 3/4. So we're going to begin our number line with 2. Okay? And you told me that your highest, greatest measurement was 5. So we're going to end our number line with 5. Fantastic. So when we're creating our number line for our line plots, we need to think, what is my least and my greatest measurement? And then we need to identify the whole number that comes before and after them, so that we know what numbers to start and end our number line with. Now, we have been working in measuring to the nearest quarter inch. So you can see that all of our measurements here are to the nearest quarter inch. And just like our rulers that we have been working with, when we're measuring in quarter inch, sometimes we want to partition into fourths or quarters. So we need to fill in our missing values on our number line. So if we're measuring to the nearest quarter inch, we know that we're going to be recording in quarter inch intervals. So we know that there needs to be 4 equal parts between each whole number. So if this is the whole number 2, I'm going to count 4 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the whole number 3. And then I'm going to count 4 more equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the whole number 4. All right. And our number line again is very similar to our ruler when we partitioned it into fourths. And we remember that between the whole numbers, we need to find the halfway between. So we can go ahead and label this 2 and 1/2. We can label this one here 3 and 1/2. And we can label this mark here 4 and 1/2. And then just like on our ruler, we remember that after we find the half, then we half each half so that we can record 2 and 1/4, and then 2 and 3/4. We have 3 and 1/4, 3 and 3/4, 4 and 1/4, and 4 and 3/4. So again, our number line on our line plot partitioned into fourths because we measured to the nearest quarter inch, just like we partitioned our ruler when we made them back in that original lesson. So now, the next thing we do is we're going to use our data set to fill in our chart with X's. Remember, we use X's in our to show frequency, to show how often something happens. So we want to fill in our key. What does each X represent in our line plot today? Say it to your screen. That's right, each X represents 1 straw. So we're going to look at our data set and we're going to keep track of it by checking it off every time we add it to our data set, from our data set to our line plot. So here we have 3. So I'm going to check it off and I'm going to record an X above the 3. Going down, we have 3 and 3/4. So I'm going to check it off and add it to my data set. 4 and 1/4. 4. 4 and 1/2. 5. Remember, that's our greatest measurement. 4 and 1/2 again. 3 and 1/4. 3. 2 and 3/4. 4. 3 and 1/2. 3 and 3/4. 4 and 3/4. And 4 and 1/2. So now that each value in our data set has been used, we should have the same number of check marks and the same number of X's to match each of those measurements. So we have a title, we have our unit, we have our key, each X represents 1 straw, and we have used each measurement to mark an X because that indicates to us each time a straw measured that value in inches. So now let's look at what is the most frequent measurement. Look at your line plot and say it out loud. That's right, the most frequent measurement is 4 and 1/2 because we have the most X's. Now this one gets tricky. What is the least frequent? There might be more than one. Say it out loud to your screen. You got it. The least frequent measurements are 2 3/4, 3 1/4, 3 1/2, 4 1/4, 4 3/4, and 5. The reason for that is because there's only one X above each of those. Great job. Some things we need to remember today. Here are our thinking questions. We need to think. What are the least and greatest measurements? Looking back at our data set, we found the least measurement and the greatest measurement. And sometimes it helps to label those. We also need to think about, when creating our number line, what are all the possible measurements in my range. So our range was from 2 to 5 because we want to start and end at a whole number. And all the possible measurements between 2 and 5 are on our number line, even though some of them may not be used in our data set. So remember these two questions when creating your line plot today. Take your time, check your work, and be sure your work is nice and neat.